right. Hey guys, and welcome back to Damalis. I am so glad you are here, and today we get to interview Miss Annette, and I'm so excited to hear more about her story. This is Carolina's mom-in-law, but we can just call her mom.
That's what I like.
Yep.
I prefer it.
All right, tell us, how many kids do you have? I know she has grown adults now.
Yep.
And how many you have, and kind of how far apart they are.
I have 4 that I've birthed, and then I have 2 extras. I got 2 bonus. So my oldest is 32, 30, 28, 27, 26, and 20.
Oh my gosh, so precious. Okay, and then can you share with us the story of how you kind of became a mom and how you felt incomplete, and then how it came full circle?
Are you ready?
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I've been waiting for the story. I have yet to hear it, so.
When I was 19, I was told I had endometriosis and a cyst the size of a grapefruit.
Wow.
On my ovaries and on my uterus. And I had to have surgery, of course, to have that removed. We were newly married at the time. We might have been married maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And they told me that I could come out of that surgery with no female body parts.
Yep.
So when I woke up from the surgery, my husband was there, of course, and I looked at him and I said, "Do I have anything left?"
Yeah.
And he said, "It's all there."
Oh my gosh.
He said, I'm like, no, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
I said, I know how bad the endometriosis was, and I know how bad the cyst was. And he said, Annette, the cyst was gone, and they couldn't find the endometriosis.
Stop.
And I'm like, okay, thinking, great, another surgery, another, whatever. And I'm thinking, this isn't done.
Yeah.
So the doctor that had done my surgery had told me that I would probably never have children on my own. I needed age on my side, and I needed help with fertility drugs. And David and I had decided, we were only married maybe 2 years by that point.
You were married at 18?
Almost 19. It was 5 days before my 19th birthday.
Okay.
But I was 19.
Okay.
So I might have been 20 in that time period. I'm thinking, am I ready for children?
Yeah.
But if that's it, that's my only chance.
Yeah.
And he said, the sooner after the surgery, the better, because we've flushed your entire system.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So I went on Clomid for almost 2 years, with the high and the low of taking it every month, and the blood tests and the ovulation tests and the pressure that it took. And I wasn't who I was. It changed me for who I was. And I had told David, I'm done. I can't do this. If God doesn't want me and you to have our own baby, maybe he wants us to take another avenue.
Yeah.
And I can't do this to my body, our relationship, me, physically, mentally, spiritually. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And David was like, good, okay, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
So I had stopped the Clomid, and I had enrolled back in cooking school, and I was accepted into the San Francisco Culinary Academy.
Oh my gosh.
And in the early 90s, that was rare.
Yeah.
Number 2, I knew I had a big push to get there, and I was willing to do it. And I enrolled in the fall of 1990. And in December, we were getting ready to go to a seminar in Las Vegas. And I didn't even tell David, but I figured, okay, we're going to Las Vegas for New Year's. I should probably just make sure, being that I'm 2 months out of the Clomid, that I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
Just before we go to that devilish place.
Yes.
And so, and I don't drink that much anyway, but just be responsible.
Yeah.
And I took the test, and it was positive. And the first thing I did was hit my knees. I was pregnant. And I couldn't believe it.
Oh my gosh.
The chances were so slim.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell David that day, because I had wanted to make a special thing, and we're flying around getting ready to get out of town, and I finally told him. and he was hysterical, but I mean, he was just a typical guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so I came home and I realized I can't go be a chef.
Yeah.
It's so hard on your body.
Yeah.
And it's a man's world.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in a man's world.
Yeah.
And I don't want to work from 4 a.m. to 2 and be a patisserie chef. I wanted to be a full-on chef.
Yeah.
So I took different classes and I bowed out of the program. And I had Jake, and that was 1991. 2 years later, or a year later, a year and a half later, David and I were on a vacation, and I came home pregnant out of absolute blue.
Oh my goodness.
2 years later, we were at a seminar, or we were somewhere, and came home, and I looked at him and I'm like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, wait, how is this happening? And I'm like, it's got to be God.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea that I would have more than one.
Yeah.
Very blessed, very gracious.
Yeah.
6 months later, we adopted our nephew, which made it 4.
Yeah.
So then 7 years later, Tony went back to his mom, which was a beautiful thing. Still broke our family.
Yeah.
And that was in May.
Yeah.
In November, I found out I was pregnant with Nick. And I had Nick on my 34th birthday. Or I found out I was pregnant with Nick on my 34th birthday.
Oh my gosh, what a dream.
It was very special. So the way that God came full circle in going through infertility, so I understand what infertility feels like.
Yeah.
I understand what early loss feels like.
Yeah.
I understand what the over-stimulating amount of time and energy it takes to be a mom of 3 under 4.
Yep.
And how all-encompassing it comes. And just supporting your marriage and being able to make sure that that comes first. And not losing yourself in the meantime.
Yeah. Man.
That's me.
Yeah. So with your nephew, your husband was like, no, I think we're at a good...
So when Joshua was born,
yes,
it was a traumatic birth.
Okay.
It was my husband felt like he was going to lose me and the baby.
Okay.
And he said both of us came out okay because of the just wisdom that my midwife had.
Yeah.
He was cord wrapped.
Yep.
And he needed to be born very, very quickly because the placenta was coming off.
Okay.
And she told me that.
Yeah.
And I said, no problem, let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
So for me, I was okay with that because I had a baby and he was okay.
Yeah.
My husband watching was like, and I think we're done.
Yeah.
I need to protect
what I have.
Yeah. I need my wife. We have 3 beautiful children.
Yeah.
And so much more than we had ever anticipated having from God.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah.
So he had respected and requested no more. So from the time Josh was about 2 until I got pregnant with Nick, that was almost 6 years. And I would pray and I would fast and I would ask, there was a woman mentor in my life, and I would ask her, just pray that the yearning in my heart for another child would please stop.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to yield to my husband's wishes. It's just huge turmoil in my life. And it's a huge burden on me. I would love for that to just be gone.
Yeah.
I would love another child.
Yes.
But my husband says no more.
Yeah.
So for that time period, and we would talk about it openly.
Yeah.
And he would be like, not losing you, girl.
Yeah.
You are my all.
Yeah.
You are who I am meant to be married to.
Yeah.
And I would just pray and pray and pray that it would just be lifted from me.
Yeah.
And it never was.
Yeah. The desire just stayed so heavy.
It was so heavy.
Like a brick on your heart. Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Man.
What they call it, a millstone around your neck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I found out I was pregnant with Nicholas, it was very much a surprise.
Yes.
It was not planned at all.
Right.
But very much a blessing.
So how did that all happen?
We were on vacation.
Always go somewhere. Hey babe, want to go somewhere?
We don't eat junk food at all.
Yes.
And we were in Disneyland.
Okay.
And I love corn dogs.
Yes.
And they had just made them. I just watched them, and I ate the whole corn dog myself.
Yes.
Not less than 20 minutes later, it was sick to my stomach.
Okay.
And my husband was like, serves you right. You shouldn't eat the junk food. I'm like, I know.
Just get it out myself.
So I proceeded to not feel well for the next, 2 or 3 days at Disneyland, trying to be a good time.
Right.
And we needed to leave for a soccer tournament. And we got home. We were on our way home, and I'm usually the night driver.
Yeah.
Kids would pass out in the back. I would drive the night haul,
Yeah.
and then I would sleep for a little while when we got home.
Yeah.
We got through the grapevine, and I was literally just falling asleep at the wheel, and that's not like me.
Yeah.
And I pulled over, and I got some water, and I told David, I'm like, I can't drive.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit, you've got food poisoning. I'm telling you, you've got food poisoning. I'm like, I very well could. I still can't drive. He's like, I'm good. He took over the wheel, and I slept from Bakersfield all the way home.
Yeah.
Which is not like me.
Yeah.
Next morning, I got up and I was praying. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm so sorry. I ate the car dog.
Yeah.
However, could you just heal my body? I still need to be a mom.
Yeah.
I still need to do all these things. And Jake had a huge soccer tournament that day. And so I woke up, and it was my birthday. And I woke up and I was praying. And I very distinctly in my head, my mind, however you want to call the Holy Spirit talking to you, get up and take a test because you're going to have a baby.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's not going to happen.
You're like, where did that thought come from?
That's not
Holy
going to happen.
Spirit.
But okay.
Yeah.
So I, of course, still had tests because I was a fertile person.
Yep.
And I got up, took a test. Yeah. It was instantly pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
And I just went, oh, okay. And I stuck it in my robe pocket, and I went downstairs, and I hear him rustling about because he gets up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the kitchen counter, and I have a cup of coffee in my hand, knowing I can't drink the coffee.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to hold on to it. He
To
comes
look
in,
normal.
and he's like, happy birthday, la la la. And I'm like, what are you doing today? And he's like, oh, I've got, this, and it's a Tuesday, so I'm going to go on a bike ride, and la la la. I'm like, great. And he looks at me, and he's like, are you okay? I said, no. Yeah, I'll be okay. He's like, it's your birthday. Are you sad that you're 34? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not sad. He goes, well, what's wrong, honey? And I said, well, it's my birthday and you can't be mad at me. And he goes, it's literally 5 o'clock in the morning. What could you have possibly done for me to be mad at you? And I said, I'm pregnant. And he goes, no, you're not. I stuck it back in my pocket and I'm holding the coffee. He goes, you can't drink that coffee. I'm like, I'm not drinking the coffee. And he turns back around and he was like, really? I'm like, really? He's like, how did that happen? I'm like, gee, I don't know.
How does that normally happen?
Anyway.
Were you guys natural family planning?
No. So I had been on birth control under it just because that's what he had desired.
Okay.
And it was safer for me that way.
Okay.
But I had a cold, bronchitis, and I had been taking some herbs. Come to find out, herbs are much like an antibiotic when you're taking birth control. They don't work.
Okay.
So
I
got pregnant.
Cross-canceled, got pregnant.
It was God. It didn't matter.
How did it come with your husband when it was time for the birth?
He was a little nervous, but I had an amazing midwife. I had 2 amazing midwives. Actually.
Did you have him at home?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have all of your kids at home?
My first one was in the hospital, but the rest of them were at home.
Okay.
Yeah. The midwife, when I had Nicholas, the last one, Nick, I knew it was going to be different.
Yeah.
And I was a much healthier person.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gifted with what's called laboring down.
Okay, what is that?
It happens very rarely. I'm a doula.
Uh-huh.
So it happens very rarely. You sleep between contractions.
Yes. Okay.
And your body, you're not exhausted. You're not in turmoil. You're very much just very in tune with your body. You can't make it happen yourself.
Yeah.
It's just some births that happen this way.
Yeah. Interesting.
And
okay.
So he basically called the midwives when he felt as though I was getting to a stage that he wanted help.
Okay.
He made that call. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even have I didn't need a voice.
Yeah.
I didn't need help. It was amazing. It was crazy. And so he's like, I'm going to go ahead and call the midwives. I'm like, go right ahead.
Yeah.
They're for you too. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. He's like, it's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
They'll
That's
be
their
here.
job.
That's
Yeah.
their job.
Yeah.
And so they got there, and she sat with me for a little bit, and she was like, and I kind of, you know, come to, and she's like, you are doing phenomenal. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you feel okay? And I'm like, I feel great.
Yeah.
And she's like,
and she knew your past history?
oh, she birthed 3 with me.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, 2,
okay.
I'm so sorry, 2
Okay,
with me.
okay.
And so I slept through almost like 90% of his labor.
Wow.
Off and on.
Yeah.
And then it came time to push him out. And I was completely wide awake.
Yeah.
And I looked at my midwife, and I'm like, I'm so glad you're here. And she's like, well, welcome back, sweetheart.
Oh my
And I'm like,
gosh.
I've been sleeping?
Yeah.
She's like, it's good.
Yeah.
She's like, you have a big baby to push out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Here we go.
Okay.
And literally like 10 minutes later, he was out.
How much did he weigh?
He was 9 and change.
Okay.
He was also 2 weeks very overdue.
Okay. Was he the biggest baby?
Yes.
Okay.
He was also the latest.
Okay.
2 weeks overdue is way too long to hold a baby.
Yeah, 2 of mine went 2 over.
Oh,
so I understand.
I mean, I'm glad, because technically in the end, he really wasn't overdue.
Correct, yeah.
He really wasn't. He was born in his perfect time.
Yep.
But he really wasn't overdue.
Yeah, I always think it's really interesting how they can like pin and point a due date, and I'm just like, I don't believe in that. Like, yeah.
They're born when they're born.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, my first was not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And he was perfect when he was born.
Oh my
Super
gosh.
happy baby.
Well, that gives me so much hope. So much hope for my future.
Just a different perspective.
Yeah.
Of how we went through having children.
Yeah. After all of that, your husband's name is David?
Yes.
How was David after all of that ended? Was he like in shock at how easy that was compared to the one before?
He was so... It healed him as well.
Good.
It healed him as a dad.
Yeah.
And for fear of loss.
Yeah.
It let him really pray over me.
Yeah.
While I was in labor.
Yeah. Oh, that's
but
beautiful.
it also let him let go of me. But it also healed his heart.
Oh, man.
That I did know. I instinctively knew what to do with my body.
Yeah.
And that it could be a very peaceful, quiet birth.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why God gifted us with that birth.
That's so beautiful.
Because, I mean, like, when I had Taylor, who was my second, it was literally a party 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, she was born at home. It was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I looked at my midwives. I had not even gotten up and bathed yet.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the next one. That's how easy Taylor's birth was. So then to have Josh's birth, it wasn't quite so easy, and it was hard. I was okay after, but you know, it's just very distinct, different births.
Yeah. How is it? Because when Nick was born, your 3 older ones were, Josh was 6.
Jake was 12, Taylor was 10, and Josh was 7.
Okay. So how did they do? Were they watching? Were they all present? And oh my gosh, they were so precious.
They were the boys were. There's pictures. They're very sweet. They're like over here on the side of my bed, like right here. They're not anywhere down here. And I've got one over here in the corner.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, if you want to leave,
did your husband take those pictures? Because that's so precious.
I don't know who took the pictures.
I love that you have pictures of them.
We have pictures of them, and there's a picture of Taylor, and she was standing at my feet.
Yeah.
And she's got her hand on my leg, and they were just like, you're good, you're okay. And I'm like, I'm good, I'm okay. And I just kept reminding them, you are present, you are okay to leave at any point in time.
Yeah.
So they watched me have the baby, they were very excited. The only one at the end was Taylor.
Yeah.
And she got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because she chose to.
Yes. Yeah.
She chose to. She was here most of the time, and then they could move about, they could do what they wanted.
Yeah.
So after he was born, they went down for breakfast because he was born in the morning.
Yeah.
They went down for breakfast, and all of a sudden I hear this. I'm showered up, I'm cleaned
Yeah.
up, the bed is cleaned, everything is good. And I hear this little knock at my door. I'm like, come on in.
Yeah.
And the three of them come clamber up on my bed. And of course I have the little one.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mommy, we have something to tell you. And I said, okay, I'm waiting for, that was too much. I'm scared. This was a lot. I'm a doula, so I understand, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you remember how you told us you were going to have a baby and you really didn't know, you didn't quite understand why you were pregnant and, you know, that God had gifted you this baby? And I said, yes, I do. And they're like, well, we know how it happened. And I'm like thinking, well, yeah, you were just part of the birth, so yes. They're like, no, we were praying for a baby. And I said, you were praying for a baby? And they said, yeah, we were just talking about it. And each one of us had been praying for a baby.
Individually?
Yeah, not together.
Oh my gosh.
And we're so sorry that we just put you through that.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, no, that's part of being a mom.
Yep.
That's what I did for each one of you.
Yep.
And
oh my
this
gosh.
one really was not that hard, trust me guys.
Yes.
I mean, it was hard, but it was not that hard.
Oh my gosh.
And so each one of them had their own, I guess they had their own conversation.
Yeah.
Downstairs of,
yeah.
I should probably tell Mom that was our prayer that was answered.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And so then I got to tell them
yeah.
about me praying for it.
Yeah.
And what to do and how to be, how to manage that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That is so beautiful.
It's very sweet.
That is so sweet. Mm-hmm. Man, I did not know that all three of them, for all three of them, like individually.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so cool how God works.
And I was 34.
Yeah.
So the chances of that happening were very slim.
Very slim, especially with a doctor telling you probably won't.
I would never have any.
Yep. To be blessed with 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so when did you become a doula?
I have been helping women have babies since I was 18.
Okay, so even before you had kids?
Even before I had kids.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you had been prepared and knew.
I helped my sister, her friend, my other sister, her friend.
Yeah.
All babies born before any of mine.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Man. Okay, so how would you encourage anybody on their journey to becoming a mom?
Becoming a mom?
Yeah, like whether it's endometriosis and overcoming and they're struggling with that, or say me, for example, I have 3 babies, I want a 4th, my husband does not, and I've been praying
it's hard
to get rid of those feelings and they have not left. Like, how would you encourage anybody walking through any of the stages that you've gone through?
Medically, on the medical side, things have changed so much.
Yes.
So I don't know if I can say, medicinally, herbally, any of those things.
Yeah.
But the only thing that held me strong was literally praying.
Yeah.
And knowing that may not be where God wanted me at that moment.
Yeah.
But that my desires needed to be second.
Yeah.
And that I guess just praying.
Yeah. Prayer is so powerful.
As simple as that sounds, and for as many women that have come to me with infertility or loss or infertility and loss have come to me and said, what do you do? How do you hold strong?
Yeah.
I don't know. The only way I guess I know that I have sound mind and body and spirit is because of the Lord.
Yeah.
So just pray.
Yep.
And when it's a hard day, pray.
Yep.
And when you're mad at God because you've not gotten pregnant, your test is negative again, or you've had a loss, God is bigger than we are, and He can handle you to be a little upset with Him.
Yep.
You're not being disrespectful by letting Him know your emotions.
Yep.
He made us emotional people.
Yep.
He can handle your wrath.
Yeah.
Just go back to Him.
Yep.
Just keep going to Him and saying, I don't want to stay there.
Yeah.
But He can handle that relationship going, it's okay, bring it. Come on, tell me how you feel. It's all right.
Yeah.
And you can be honest and you can be open Because when you do, you let Satan not have a foothold on that situation, on that pregnancy, on those feelings. You're now seeking advice from the Lord. You're now seeking advice from your Bible. You're now open and honest about with other people.
Yeah.
When other times you want to hide, or you want to be ashamed, or you want to say there's something wrong with me or my body. No, there's not.
Yeah.
But that's when Satan can get a foothold and tell you all those lies that he wants you to hear.
Man, that's so good. Yeah.
I've been around a little while.
Yeah. Bring it with your wisdom, girl. All right. So lately, what has made your mama heart smile or your grandma heart smile?
I read that question when you gave it to me.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know which one you want to, I mean, like, how do you, it's like, do you want my mama heart smile when the kids are little? When they're smaller, when they're bigger, when they're older? I mean, like one that just happened.
Yes.
We have had so much go on in the last 5 years.
Yes.
Of our family. We have had sadness, depression, anxiety, loss, severe loss. We've had just change of heart, change of mind, change of spirit, change of wisdom in the people that I love and care for. We've had people move in and out of our life. We've had people we've asked to leave our life, to never return because they hurt our family. We've had business changes. And we all work together, by the way.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot going on in the last 5 years, and each one of us have tried very hard to deal with it on our own and yet stay together as a hub. And I'm grateful that my husband and I have been able to voice our opinions and what's going on and not let it attack our relationship.
Yeah.
We've been married 37 years.
Yeah.
And we knew this was going to be, when we're in the middle of it, we knew it was going to be a long haul.
Yeah.
We didn't know how long haul of it was going to be. But we would talk about it. And literally on Easter Sunday, we happened to have communion on Easter Sunday this year.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had communion on our Easter Sundays.
Okay.
However, I was contemplating Easter Sunday, and I was praying about it beforehand. And I'm in church, and I'm praying about it. And I just asked the Lord to restore our family.
Yeah.
And to let us have a fresh start.
Yeah.
And I've prayed that so many times in the last 5 years. And it's not that he didn't hear me. It just wasn't time.
Yeah.
And as I sat there, my heart was like, don't hold on too tightly to that prayer, because you've been praying that prayer for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, I'm still going to hold strong to what I think is right for our family.
Yeah.
And what's right for me to be praying. And we need restoration.
Yeah.
We need, each one of us need that in our life. Literally that day it happened.
Stop. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
And I doubted him.
Wow, okay.
Because I was afraid he was going to
Take it all
to
away.
give it to me and then take it away.
Yeah, I can see that.
As another lesson, as another trial, as another tribulation,
Yeah.
or maybe sin, or Satan, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was very apprehensive of believing that it was going to be true and final. But I just said, okay, I'll hold on.
Yep.
And I want to say it was a few days later before I even shared it with my husband. And I shared everything with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just looked at me and he's like, I hope that you have the strength to tell this story.
Yeah.
Because they all need to hear it. Because it's not one of them in the family that was, it was just so many things that caused so much rift. But we all needed forgiveness and we all needed restoration. And so since that time, it has grown and healed and healing. I shouldn't say it's over.
Yeah.
But we're healing.
Yeah.
And that is a huge blessing.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
Huge.
Oh, praise God.
Oh yeah. Without it, yeah. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not my magical parenting happenings or, the fact that nothing. Literally nothing I've done. But I'm grateful.
So grateful.
So grateful.
Man. All right. So last question before we pray. A lot of moms are always figuring out, what should I make my kids to eat? What should I make me to eat? Being a chef.
Oh, well, yeah.
What is a recipe you would recommend for a mom and her kids?
I would say one of the easiest things you could possibly do. That's always good every single time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Money chicken.
Money chicken. What is money chicken?
Money chicken is bone-in chicken thighs.
Okay.
So basically you could run to the grocery store, because
Yes.
you all know those days are going to happen. When
Yeah.
you have nothing to cook,
Yeah.
you grab a flat of chicken thighs. You can season them however you want. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You could do taco seasoning and open up some tortillas and beans. You could do Montreal's chicken seasoning. You could do salt and pepper and garlic.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Take a pan, foil it up, put a wire rack on it.
Okay.
Put your chicken thighs on it, season them with something dry.
Okay.
375, 40 minutes.
Okay.
You have dinner. In the meantime, you could cut up some potatoes, sweet potatoes, whatever. You could buy butter. It doesn't matter. Just put it all in a sheet pan.
Yeah.
Now you have time. Literally takes you 5 minutes
To prep it all.
to prep that, throw it in the oven, and now you have 40 minutes to put away the groceries,
Oh my gosh.
do homework, whatever. You pull dinner in 3 sheet pans that are covered in foil,
Yeah.
because if you don't cover it in foil, you're going to hate me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yes.
They come out, the skin is crispy, they're perfect, and then you can, whatever you don't eat for the night for your family, you can shred into something else for the week.
Yeah. And you just serve it to them bone in, and you can just hold it or
of course the littles, my little grandson will eat the meat off the bone, no problem.
Oh, I love that. Money chicken.
Or-
Why is it called money chicken?
Because it's money every time.
Oh, I love that.
That is the truth.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
It's money
I'm
every time.
gonna have to try
I just
that.
literally made it 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's nice chicken for the fridge for sandwiches or a chicken salad sandwich or to throw in the soup.
Yeah.
If the kids don't gnaw on the bones,
Yeah.
my husband doesn't gnaw on the bones,
Yeah.
they can go into the bone broth pot to make bone broth out of it. They gnaw on them, they go in the chicken bucket.
Yeah.
But I just pay attention to who's a gnawer and who's not.
And who's not?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I'm very excited. I'm gonna try that when I get home with my kids.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's been your favorite seasoning for that currently?
Actually, I use salt, pepper, and garlic most of the time.
Okay.
Or before, because my husband has food allergies.
Okay,
So
okay.
Montreal chicken before we knew that.
Okay.
Great. Taco seasoning's great.
Okay.
It literally does not matter what you put on it.
It's good every time.
Every time.
I'm excited to try money chicken. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Damalis. And I was wondering if you would pray to wrap it up for our listeners.
You're welcome. Heavenly Father, you give us wisdom in age. However, that wisdom comes with trials and tribulations, and I'm grateful for them. I would pray for the women that are listening to this as they're walking through, more than likely, the younger years of their life. I would pray, Lord, that you would lift them and hold them, that you would grant them a gentle way of teaching, that you would hold them when they're weak, when they're not strong, and you would rejuvenate them, and you would give them that strength that only comes from you. But you would call them again and again and again to you for that strength and for that rejuvenation, for those forgiveness times, Lord, when they're just overwhelmed with being a mom, that you would just give them that strength that can only come from you. Lord, I am grateful for being a mom that you've blessed me with. I am grateful, Lord, of all of the hindsight that I have, and the healing and the rejuvenation that you've given me. Lord, I give those that are weak in their faith strength. I give those that don't feel strong with you to have the openness and the welcomeness, Lord, that you welcome them. You welcome them in any space that they're in, whether they feel broken, whether they feel lost, whether they feel like they're not worthy of you, that they are, and that you are the only thing that can heal them, that you are the only thing that can hold them during this, that you help them hold their marriage, that you help them hold their children, that you help them hold them in their strength and their guidance through this world, that you are the one that helps give them the strength to keep Satan at bay, to keep them away, and that you, Lord, are the only one that can walk through them with this in their life, in the times that they're just overwhelmed, because I was many times, Lord, and that I didn't know what to do, or I was anxious, or I was sad, or I was depressed. And every time I turned to you, Lord, you answered those prayers, and I pray that, Lord, that you would do the same for each one in their space, in their time, that they would call to you, and you would bless them, Lord, with an answer and prayer and strength and courage, perseverance, forgiveness, so that they could sleep well and go again the next day. Lord, I ask you this in your name alone. Amen.
Amen. Thank you again for everything. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the next one.